Hello there. So welcome back to Tennis News 44. And it is now time to have a look at the Rome Masters 1000 final. Yes, that's right. After just about a week and a half of constant tennis in Rome, it is now crunch time. Two players are left after uh, day after day of tennis, and let's get straight to it because the final in Rome will be played between Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. This is honestly the final of dreams. No one would have predicted that, well, at least Yannick Sinner would get this far after 3 months off the tour, but he is just straight away, after his first match, got back into his rhythm and has just proved to be a menace. And it seems as though he hasn't lost the level he was at before his ban. Um, so this is really just the stuff of dreams for tennis fans. Um, Let me start straight away by saying that this is the first final uh, in a Masters 1000 between the two players, which is what makes it so enthralling. Now, before looking at the head to head, let's have a look back at the run these two players have gone on to get to the final. So, starting off with Yannick Sinner. So he started off with a match against Navone, and when you look at Yannick Sinner's run, uh, there are honestly some matches in there where you doubt that the Italian would get through the matches. So Navone was already a test for Sinner because it was his first game back and he was flawless, straight sets to get past that so easily already was impressive. And then after that, he got past the lucky loser De Jong in straight sets. And as I mentioned in my previous videos, the matchup against Francisco Cerundolo was just um, honestly, I was not expecting Sinner to be at that level and to be so convincing against a player of that caliber on clay, who had already beaten him as well in Rome 2 years ago. So that was a huge statement. And talking about statements, if that wasn't a statement enough, the next match against Casper Ruud was just I think that sent shockwaves across the tennis world, to dispatch the Madrid champion in straight sets 6-0, 6-1. I mean, that was just brutal. That was a signal of intent. And I think that honestly, it was actually scary. It was actually scary to watch because you're thinking to yourself, if that's how he can perform against one of the best clay court players on the tour, well, I mean, honestly, he could. What's the limit for Yannick Sinner? That's the question. What is the limit? Because so after that match, he faced the American Tommy Paul in the semi-final, and a lot of people, including myself, thought that, well, Sinner would just win that easily as well in straight sets. However, it was a funny match because the American won the first set 6-1, which raised a lot of eyebrows. However, Yannick Sinner then just went on to win the second set 6-0. So not dishing out another bagel against a top 20 player. I mean, just honestly mind blowing. So that's the run, and that's the matches that Sinner has played up until the final, which will be tomorrow. And now looking at Alcaraz and the matches, the difficult matches we can say that he had. I mean, he had quite I'd say favourable first few matches. So against the two Serbs, Lajovic and Jera. And I think that helped Alcaraz a lot just to get into his rhythm and just uh, to to not have to tire himself too much. Even though against Jera did push him, especially in one of those sets. It started to get tougher for Alcaraz against Kachanov. Um, Even though the Russian had never beaten Alcaraz, he did stand firm against the Spaniard, and that was honestly, I'd say, Alcaraz's first tough match in Rome. And then, well, the matchup against Jack Draper. Again, a lot of people were very fascinated to see this match and to see how it would play out, because let's not forget that Draper had recently beaten Alcaraz in Indian Wells just over a month ago. However, Alcaraz, that was for me his most impressive performance, I'd say, of the tournament so far, because Draper was also on an amazing streak of not dropping sets. His last loss was against Casper Ruud in the Madrid final on clay. So for Alcaraz to get through that and not have to again tire himself too much, I think that honestly gave a lot of confidence to the Spaniard. And then, so he then went on to face Lorenzo Musetti in the semi-final, and I honestly thought that this match would be tighter than it was, because Musetti was honestly playing lights off tennis. Was honestly, I think Musetti was has been playing in the past few weeks, not just in Rome, the best tennis of his career. And I think on clay, it favors his style of play as well. However, the problem is with Musetti is that it feels like there's a gap between, and that's what I will discuss, between Sinner and Alcaraz. It feels like Sinner and Alcaraz are on that top level, on the highest level possible, whereas there's a bunch of players behind them who are contenders, who can potentially cause an upset here and there, but are not consistently fighting with Sin and Alcaraz for all the top titles. And I would include Musetti in those players. I would include Draper as well, at least in the past few months. Essentially in 2025. I would include Ruud, especially after his Masters 1000 victory. And even to a certain extent, Djokovic, who yes has been knocked out early in the previous Masters 1000, but you can never count Novak Djokovic out in any form of tennis, but especially in the Grand Slam format. So, I mean, for that reason, for Alcaraz to just basically get past Draper and Musetti with not too much difficulty, for me, that says a lot about his level. And so that's why we have gotten to the point of another matchup between these two stars. That there's nothing more to say about them. And there's just so many adjectives to describe these two players. Now let's have a look more closely at their head-to-head. I mean, it's just crazy. First of all, because when you're scrolling down here, I mean, look, Alcaraz hasn't lost much in the past few weeks. He obviously lost in Barcelona in the final against Runa, but Yannick Sinner's run, we have to talk about this. It is absolutely obscene. Well, first of all, he hasn't lost, even though that's the thing. He has been out for 3 months, but despite that, before that, I mean, he was still playing in the Australian Open, and he won that. He won that in dominating fashion, and he hasn't lost since his comeback either. And what is just so interesting with this matchup and this final, and why the stakes are so high, is that Yannick Sinner's last loss on the ATP Tour was against Carlos Alcaraz, and that's why we're going to have a look at the head-to-head between the two players. So, disregarding the kind of exhibition match that they had at the Six Kings Slam, I mean, we have to have a look at this. As I mentioned, the last match that Yannick Sinner lost was on the 2nd of October 2024. Can you imagine that? I mean, honestly, the way in which Sinner has dominated the ATP circuit reminds me of Novak Djokovic in his prime, when he was just so consistent on the tour. I mean, obviously he broke the record for the amount of weeks at number one on the ATP tour. But, and this is where, as I said, this is where this matchup is so exciting, so interesting, because when you have a look at their head-to-head, so Beijing final, Alcaraz beat Sinner. Roland Garros last year, Alcaraz beat Sinner in an absolute thriller, 5 sets. And obviously, let's not forget, Alcaraz then went on to win the French Open. They then faced again in Indian Wells last year. Alcaraz also got the better of Sinner. So that means that, as I said, without counting this exhibition match that they played at the end of last year, that means that Alcaraz has won the last 3 competitive matches between the two players. And that's why it's just so interesting. And so, I mean, look, we can also, I mean, this is what just so crazy. They played, I think, in a total of 10 times. 10 times they played. And I mean, Alcaraz overall has the upper hand over Sinner in their head-to-head. I mean, look, their first matchup was in 2019. Can you imagine that, 6 years ago? And I mean, to see where both players are at now, it's just outrageous. So, looking at the matchups, they have not played a lot on clay. They played in Umag, so an ATP 250. That was a clay tournament. They then played in Roland Garros last year, which was their, let's say, first real big matchup on clay. And that's just about it. So that's why, and this is leading to my prediction and my explanation for who I think might win. That's why it's just really difficult to actually predict who will come out on top. I think, honestly, it can go either way. I think that because, though, this is in Italy, This is in Rome. Yannick Sinner is going to have the backing of pretty much the entire crowd. Now we know that Alcaraz is used to hostile environments. He's managed to uh, to be able to control himself in obviously the biggest of scenarios and tournaments. So I'm not so sure the factor of the crowd is going to really have an impact on the winner of the match. I really think that both players are going to be playing obviously lights out. My only doubt is regarding Sinner's fitness because I was watching most of the semi-final when he played Tommy Paul, and he proved to be he proved to towards the end of the match he was looking tired, and I was actually thinking that if he didn't finish the match soon, so he served it out in the end at 6-4. Um, that honestly, it would have been a real struggle for Sinner towards the end of that match if it had ended up going to a final set tiebreak. Um, so that is a slight worry for me. However, I think that with the adrenaline, with this being such a big match, I mean, can we just imagine how big of a feat this would be for Yannick Sinner to come back after 3 months off tour to just absolutely dismantle two of the best players on clay, Cirundolo and Rude, and then to go on and beat his biggest rival on the tour. What a statement that would be! And I think honestly, if the other players aren't frightened enough after well his dismantling and just his run during this tournament, I think that is going to send a huge message to the entire ATP tour. So for that reason, after going through and analyzing this match, I am going to go for Yannick Sinner to beat Alcaraz in 3 sets. I think I could say that there's a very big chance that this match will go to 3 sets. And for that reason, I think that Yannick Sinner will win the match in 3 sets. There's going to be a lot of breaks of serves. We saw in yesterday's match between Paul and Sinner that there was a huge amount of breaks in both sets. Well, especially in the first set and the third set. I think that Sinner will obviously, I mean, not obviously, but for sure, in my opinion, have a dip in form, or just as I mentioned, because of his fitness, at some point will not be able to withstand his level that he's been showing throughout the entire tournament for the entirety of the match. And for that reason, I think the first set is going to be key. If Sinner wins the first set, for me, he has an even bigger chance of winning the entire match because obviously mentally, especially with his fitness, I think that will be a huge kind of motivating factor for him to go on and win. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts about this huge matchup. I think it's going to be one of the best matches of this season. I mean, I hope it will be. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. And there you go. Let's just enjoy this match, honestly, because this is the biggest match outside of a Grand Slam that we're going to be getting. and this is the final huge matchup that will be played before the French Open. So it will say a lot about the kind of standout players for Roland Garros. So thanks again for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Thanks a lot.